Gilbert, it's time for Compas on the LA Beat.
It feels like a little spin the wheel thing at the end. Like,
Exactly. But before we get into that, don't forget Compas on the Beat. LA Beat is all about us talking Chargers, Rams, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But before we get into that, don't forget, we have a website. We have one website. No, we got two websites. CompasOnTheBeat.com. Obviously, you'll see everything there from House of Horns, from What's Up Bolts,
What?
from the regular Compas on the Beat,
What?
from Combat Compas.
What?
You'll get it all there. And then also, you like my hat? Oh, I know you like this hat. I know you like the sweatshirt that Victor Producer wears. I know you like the shirt that Dan and Daygo wears. I know you like the hoodie that Gilbert wears. Go find it all at CompasOnTheBeatMerch.com. We got it all there. Don't forget to check the link in the bio below to go to all those websites. Check it all out. We appreciate you guys so much for that. But Gilbert, it is time, like I said, for Compas on the LA. Brandon Staley was at the owners' meetings talking, donning a little 5 o'clock shadow, maybe it was 6 o'clock. But he spoke about Austin Eckler, Gilbert. He gave us an update. Can you give us the update that he gave to everybody else?
Yeah, I think Brandon Staley started growing the beard at the combine or after Austin Eckler. He's had the beard, for a bit. Or
okay,
you want to call it a beard or not? You want to review the beard?
Chocomil?
I'll say that his beard is better than mine. I've tried growing a beard and it's very patchy. His has less holes than mine. So
I still remember, you know what? I was scrolling through my phone. I saw your COVID mustache the other day. Oh, that thing was a thing of beauty.
I could grow a mustache. I just can't, for some reason I can't do the beard. But Brandon Staley is convinced he could do it. Or Fernando, good segue here, by the way. He's been growing it since Austin Eckler made a request to be traded, because so far, no trade. Where's Austin Eckler? Where is he going? Where?
Who?
And the more I listen to Brandon Staley talk, and the more this thing is going on and lingering, I think he might come back. Reunion for Austin Eckler and the Chargers. And it's a weird position. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, Fernando, that Austin Eckler does not have a lot of value on the trade market, but he has a lot of value for the Chargers. Like, if you lose Austin Eckler for the Chargers, you're taking a big hit offensively. Yeah, he's not the durable workhorse back, 1, 2, 3 in terms of the yards or the carries there. They can't figure that part out, but he's still a dual threat in receiving, even a good blocker too, Fernando, because I know he's not the biggest guy, but he can still do that. So he's very versatile. He offers a lot for the Chargers. And if you give up Austin Eckler for what, a 4th rounder, maybe, but more like a 5th rounder, 6th rounder, what's the point of all this? So Brandon Staley is saying, hey, we love Austin Eckler. We respect what he's doing. Maybe it's a way for the Chargers to say, hey, go figure out the market for you. Because if you don't get a higher pick than a 4th rounder, we're not trading you, man. Get over it and come back. And now it's a way for Brandon Staley to repair what's going on.
Not just that, Gilbert. If you're able to get a safety, a good safety, now that Nazir Adderley has retired, if you can get a John Johnson, somebody like that, you kind of don't have any glaring needs. Like, you don't have a pressing need going into the draft. You could basically pick and choose whatever you need in the draft. And if Austin Eckler leaves, glaring need right there. You need a running back. Why? The guys that you've had before, Isaiah Spiller, the Larry Roundtree, Joshua Kelly, they haven't worked out yet. So you're going to have a glaring need there. If you can keep Austin Eckler, you kind of go into the draft knowing exactly what you need to do. You could pick basically anybody that you want. And that's the thing about the Chargers, is that I think they like Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler is obviously a leader. We've seen him, Gilbert, when they have community events. He's donated weight room sets to numerous high schools that are in need. He's done a lot of good stuff in the community. Obviously, the Chargers want to keep somebody like that. They value the guys that are willing to go to any community event, donate their time, stuff like that. You've seen other teammates come out and talk about him. So clearly they all love Austin Eckler. They want Austin Eckler back on this team. Now it's, and I think actually this might be a good thing for the Chargers. Have him go out and search and look for his value. You saw it, Gilbert. Miles Sanders was probably the best running back to hit free agency, and he got basically only a little bit less than Austin Eckler did a year. So it's hard.
His interview with Chris Long saying how like devalue his. I'm like, well, yeah, man, like it's a running back position, and then you see Miles Sanders, you're not gonna get more than that.
Did you hear did you hear though there was one clear thing that he said: I'm making half of what I deserve. So he thinks he should be around $12 million, almost 13, Gilbert. And I just don't see Gilbert. We've talked about this. Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook are two of the highest paid running backs, and they're asking them to take pay cuts.
Yeah, I was trying to give Eckler the benefit of the doubt when I wrote my story about trading spots. I'm like, this guy knows like he can't get that much money because he saw Melvin Gordon mess it up, and now he's saying that at half. Like, I don't think he's gonna get 12 million, not even close. That I would say maybe
8.
if you're lucky, and it's only like gonna be like a 1-year contract, maybe 2. And Fernando, I forget, but I think this contract that Melvin Gordon got from the Broncos was what 2 years, 16 million.
Yep.
So isn't that kind of a little ironic?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally like basically
like it's getting worse with the running
yeah,
back.
yeah, exactly. And it's like because Melvin was offered what a 2-year 20, 2-year 22.
I think it was 16 like that. That's why I'm saying 8 million per year. Let me look at it while you make your point.
Because I remember Melvin. I mean, Melvin took a significant loss with that contract. I think it was about like he did lose about $8 million with that contract. So definitely, Austin needs to play it smart. He knows the team. He knows the system. It's going to get a little bit rough if he goes over to if he tries to go over and go somewhere else because it's a different system everywhere. The only place I could see him, like you said a couple of weeks ago, was back with Anthony Lynn and the 49ers. I think that'd be a really, but I mean, obviously they've already traded for Christian McCaffrey. They have some other running backs, but what'd you find?
Yeah, Fernando, we got to move on, but it was 2 years, $16 million for Melvin Gordon. So that's $8 million a year. So that's when the market was higher. So he's hurting. And Fernando, let me get one more thing here before we get to the Rams, and then we're gonna have a surprise here for Compas in the LA beat. And I don't want to, yeah, I don't want to forget the draft just yet. So I want to spotlight somebody. I want to get your quick thoughts because I've been doing a lot of mock drafts for the Chargers because they have a first-round pick. The Rams don't have a first-round pick. So we'll get to the Rams eventually in terms of the draft spotlight. How about you name the spotlight there? Zay Flowers, Boston College. Remember the school, Boston College. Boston College, Zay Flowers, wide receiver, speedy wide receiver, has been mocked to a lot of in mock drafts to the Chargers. Real quick, Fernando, do you like it? Seeing that name a lot?
He just ran by me, Gilbert. He just ran by me. Oh my God, that guy's fast. No, definitely. I was the other day I had to do something for the Sporting Tribune where I took 3 receivers that the Chargers could potentially take. He was my number 1. I really do think the kid's fast. He has everything that the Chargers want, that they need. If you mix them in with Joshua Palmer, with Keenan Allen, and with Mike Williams, he might be the one that gets you over 1,000 yards just because of how fast he is. He can pull away from corners. Safeties can't cover him. So I definitely think Zay Flowers has to be one of their top targets when the draft comes, just because I feel like he's the purest speed guy that is coming out. And like we said, there's no Jamar Chase. There's no must get top 5 wide receiver in this draft. It feels like those guys are going to start going right around the 18 to 21 mark where the Chargers are. So Zay Flowers, I think, is a name to look at. And they drafted a guy from Boston College last year in Zion Johnson. So, but we'll get into a little Zion in a little bit.
Yeah.
Gilbert, the Rams, there's been it's still been quiet. Obviously, Rams COO Kevin Demoff sent a letter to fans saying, "Hey, yeah, we're selling guys. Yeah, we're getting rid of some guys. Yeah, we're relieving cap, but we're gonna still be competitive. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna fight in front of the millions." But definitely, Gilbert, what were your thoughts on the letter that? Isn't it weird that you kind of have to send a letter out saying, "Hey, we're gonna be competitive"?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was maybe Kevin read my story in SI where I say teams that need the most work to even contend for a playoff spot, and I had the Rams earlier. Like the Rams have a good core, like we mentioned last year. Stafford, Cup, Donald, even McVay being back is a big part of it. But I'm like, all right, this team tends to compete, but they have a whole lot of work. And maybe Kevin wrote, you know what, Gilberto Manzano, you don't know what you're talking about. There's not that much work to do here. But the way you sold it, Fernando, was pretty much what I was thinking. Like, yeah, you're doing a fire sale, salary cap space, you're building for the future, but being competitive. That was like the last thing he mentioned. That's the way I felt. Like I said, hey, and also too, Fernando, I think it's the whole, and Victor has mentioned this before, like the whole dynamic of playing in Los Angeles. Like, if you stink, people will not buy tickets, and you got to sell season tickets right now, right? And when you went 5-12 a year ago, and you had the worst, the most awful offense in the world. I've covered NFL for what 7, 8, 9 years now, whatever. The worst offense I've ever covered. It put me to sleep. So you can't put people in LA to sleep. And I think that letter was like, hey, you know what? I believe in this Rams group. Kevin Demoff, thank you for the letter. But when you sell at least Donald, Cooper Kupp, Stafford, and McVay, you could drink the Kool-Aid a little bit, right?
I mean, I guess you can. I mean, one positive, I guess, out of this, a little bit of some news was Matthew Stafford and his wife bought into a little piece of Angel City FC. So that was a pretty positive thing. Obviously, that's a women's soccer team. Good to see there, Gilbert. And lastly, Bobby Wagner heads back to Seattle. Were you surprised by the contract? 1 year, $7 million. I thought he might have commanded maybe a wee bit more.
Not really because of his age, and then with the linebackers who were younger than him got less than that too. So
Yeah.
inside linebackers are not getting paid. And then 1 year felt about right, and him going back to Seattle was definitely right. Like when he was released, I was thinking, okay, Seattle needs like the ironic part about the Seahawks being such a trendy team, a wild card team on the rise. Their defense was great with the cornerbacks, but they needed a linebacker, and Bobby Wagner was gone. Like imagine Bobby Wagner with this defense, it would be so much better. Now they're gonna make it happen. I think he still has a lot left in the tank. So, and then covering that game in Seattle, that final game of the regular season, Geno Smith going out with Baker Mayfield. I think it went overtime, right? It went overtime that game. People love Bobby Wagner in Seattle, so it just feels right.
What do you mean add you to the show? No, this is Gilbert and I. No, I'm not going to add you to the. No, I am not. Didn't see you there, pal. Don't mind me. I was just reading my little. Look at this, what I got right here. Little game planning with the 49ers. Shout out to Coach Torres for letting me borrow that. Wow. Gilberto, you can't escape me. I am your Freddy Krueger. I am in all your dreams. I am here when you are awake. I am in your mind when you go to sleep. You cannot escape me. Right now, you probably think you're in a nightmare, but no, you're not. You're in the best dream you could possibly have with your boy Dan and Daygo. He just attacked me to get on the show. This is Gilbert and I segment.
Yeah,
he came in, he attacked me.
That's what I'm thinking.
And he hit the music himself, just like Seth Rollins did last week.
What can I tell you? I'm like, speaking of Seth Rollins, shout out to the most legendary Money in the Bank cash-in, WrestleMania, I can't remember the number, with Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, and this fool comes screaming down that 2-mile ramp or whatever. That's what I am right now. I'm here.
That was actually in San Francisco or Santa Clara, to be exact.
Oh yeah, you're right. Shout out. It was at Levi's Stadium.
And real quick, Dan, I'm actually surprised that you know how to read, but then that book has a lot of pictures of just X's and O's. And
you're
good to go. But,
really?
But why
look at my high IQ books over here.
But why is it here? Why is it here, Fernando?
So the reason why I think he came in is because he heard me say the word Zion Johnson. And there was a tweet out a little bit ago. I can't remember who tweeted it out, but Tom Telesco just spoke to the media a little while ago. And at the better late than ever, I guess, he spoke to the media and he spoke about how their plan is right now to move Zion Johnson to left guard, where he played mostly in college, and move Jamari Sawyer to right guard next to Trey Pipkins. So obviously that trio of Zion Johnson, Corey Linsley, and Jamari Sawyer could be a very scary trio within the inside. But Dan, when you do something like that, when you move two guys like that, I mean, obviously you want the continuity and everything, but is it a little dangerous to move two guys? Obviously you're going to convert Jamari from left tackle to right guard. But is what? Speak of that first. What's that transition like for him going from left tackle to right guard?
Going from tackle to guard, I was talking about this a little bit earlier. I think I've said it on other shows, but it's a little bit. It's not difficult if you're sound in your technique and you have the right mindset. Right. As a tackle, I am like a boxer. I'm like Muhammad Ali out here. You know, if depending on where the end lines up, I can take my time. I don't have to initiate contact. I don't have to look for it. I, as the tackle, wait to pick my right spot to engage the defender and everything else to make sure. Because remember, right, even at the tackle position, you could take 3 to 5 steps backwards, essentially in your kick step. And all the quarterback has to do is step up if you have the right amount of leverage, and he's not going to get the sack or anything like that. Now, going from there to tackle, You have to be like, gosh dang, Iron Mike Tyson. You have got to get in there, be physical and everything else. And really, there is no space really for you to move. Like for guards, I always try and tell them, the most you want to take is 2 to 3 kick steps. You do not want to move back because number one, I'm going to be pissed if they put you in the quarterback's lap. Number two, I better not see no gosh dang quarterback hitting his hand on his helmet, because that essentially pisses me off also, because it's inexcusable. Like, you have to stand your ground a lot more. So essentially the physicality from one to the other is a lot different, because also think about this, right? At the tackle position, I don't know. I don't think Sawyer was undersized or anything like that, kind of like Slater. But even say, for instance, Slater, right? He's going up against thinner edge rushers, like it or not. For the most part, they're pretty thin. They're a lot smaller than those D tackles. Now you move Sawyer inside, and he's going to get 300-pounders in there, a lot of man, and it's not the same thing. It's completely different, especially in the run game, right? It's a lot different because these guys are absolutely physical. They are paid to beat you up and just eat up blocks. So that's the only thing that's a little bit different right there. It's really just mentality, because like if you have the it's like a pyramid, right? If you have the freaking technique at the bottom, your foundation, then you can build up from there and change positions and everything else. Same with Zion Johnson. It's good that he already has familiarity with the left guard position, because sometimes when you move a guy from right to left or things like that, they get too much in their head. They're like, well, I've lined up in a right-handed stance my whole life. Now I have to change to a left-handed stance. Then I get oh, coach, I don't know if I can do it, coach. And I'm like, shut the hell up. Just change your feet and it's going to be the same thing, right? There's no difference. There's really no difference. The only thing is a little bit, your steps change a little bit, but the leverage and all that stuff's the same. You still want to get under the shoulder pads of your defender, and you still want to be patient for tackles. You still want to be patient in the pass pro, and you have to be, gosh dang, physical at the guard position in the pass pro and the run game. So really, that's the only difference. It's a little bit different in that sense, but it's not like you should be able to do it. You're a pro.
Well, now the maybe the grand question, or the better question, Dan, because thank you for teaching me. I guess you do know how to read. You know how to teach people.
I'm telling you, I got something. I don't just babysit kids all day, guy.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about. So now the grand question is, maybe you can't really tell just by one guy playing left tackle for most of the season as a rookie, but do you feel comfortable, okay with these switches? Zion to left guard, Sawyer playing the right guard, because that's a whole side too, not just their position, left to right. That all matters. Do you feel comfortable? Do you think that the Chargers could pull this off? And on paper, it looks like a really good offensive line for 5.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to this, right? How are these guys going to get coached up? Because obviously you can pull it off with a lot of different things. We saw Anthony Lynn go out with bag boys up front, and they went 12-4. It was definitely very interesting thing to watch. Now this year, you have to I don't know his history, so I don't know if he's ever played guard before, but you have to make sure, number one, this is the first thing I'm doing. I'm saying, hey, Sawyer, your best friend's going to be Corey Linsley. Your locker's right next to him and Zion, and that's where they're going to be all summer, all OTAs, all whatever the hell it's called, not spring ball, but no OTAs. What's the one in?
There's spring, and then it goes into OTAs.
Well,
and
whatever they're
mini camp.
What mini camp, O camp, full camp, whatever it's called, all their practices. Those are the 3 people I'm having together in their lockers, because he has to now shift his mentality, like I talked about earlier, where it's like, hey, dude, you've got to stay in your ground and you got to punch these guys, because number one, the thing about Chris Jones, you're going to see 2 times a year. He likes to line up on the offense's right side, and he has speed and power. And what
Gilbert's
you can't
boy from the Broncos, Zach Allen.
Exactly. And what you can't do with these guys is, number one, be flat-footed. Number two,
the Raiders have Jerry Tillery.
Oh, please. Don't make me laugh. That's the game he circles, because I'm going to get paid off of this one. He knows he's going to get paid off of that game. But like I was saying, you can't be flat-footed where you're not kicking and you're slow to react against these guys. The other thing you can't do – oh, my bad. Did you want to say something?
No, go ahead. Go finish off.
The other thing you can't do is you can't guess. That's what I can't stand when people guess. Like, the thing about offensive line in the pass game, you have the advantage because you know what the play is. The guy has to react to your either pass set or run set. And when you do your pass set, as a guard, like I said, you have 2 steps essentially. You don't have to strike until you're comfortable with the distance and it's within your arm and you bench press, right? But some guys, for whatever reason, stand straight up, reach out, and then obviously, the guy, the defensive lineman will club and rip or do whatever he wants to get around him. The last thing you can't do also, my bad for Alan.
No, go ahead.
The last thing you cannot do also, because these guys are powerful. They know how to get under shoulder pads and everything else. You cannot lose your leverage on these guys and let them put you on skates and put you right in the quarterback's lap.
By the way, real quick, before we head out of here, I do have video of Dan showing a guy how to block. Here we go. Let's go to it right now.
Oh, there you go.
Here, son. Hold him inside here between the tits. You got it? When you look at me, son, if you grab him outside here like this or that horse collar thing you just did, you're going to get flagged and I'm going to be pissed.
Dude, you're getting so good at these. God.
We appreciate Dan and Daygo for jumping on with us and teaching us a little thing.
You don't want to have him on real quick for what I'm going to have? I just want to have his opinion. Like, just keep it short, Dan.
All right. Go ahead.
Let me what I've been noticing, because what do you call him, Dan? The blue.
The son of Odin.
Oh, no, not that.
The god of lightning.
No, the blue check
badge.
The blue check mark brigade. The guy
that might be over by on April 1st.
I won't be a blue check mark after April 1st.
Neither will I.
Anything to me. Now that they can buy it, what does it mean? Nothing.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't mean nothing. Yeah,
exactly. I get a bunch of randos, and I always have to check on their profile if they're verified or subscribed or whatever.
All right. Well, I guess these people are not really randos, but one thing I've been noticing, Dan and Fernando, now that everybody's already assuming Aaron Rodgers is going to go to the AFC with the New York Jets, people are doing rankings like we like to do. And I saw people on NFL Network, people on ESPN doing, okay, your top 5 AFC quarterbacks. And it's a very deep quarterback position in the AFC, because you're going from one star who's already in a weak NFC quarterback-wise to a really loaded AFC. And people are being asked, name your top 5. And from I'm going to say from 12 people that I noticed, maybe 2 people had Justin Herbert in the top 5.
Yeah, because they're stooges.
So it got me thinking real quick to end the show. And give me your list, and then very quick your analysis. But this trend here with Justin Herbert not being in the top 5, I want to just say real quick, I think it's a whole stigma where he didn't win the playoff game. 27-0, he lost. So all these people who probably just care more about the playoff wins and the whole body of work are forgetting Justin Herbert. So that's something you have to deal with, Chargers fans. You're watching the show. That playoff loss is going to be lingering, because now you got guys like Trevor Lawrence that are passing him. So let's start with you, Fernando. Who are your top 5 quarterbacks? And then throw in what you want about Justin Herbert.
Okay, I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to go Joe Burrow. I'll go Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, and I'm missing one. Who's another?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. No, you know what? My bad. Let me go back. I'm gonna go Patrick Mahomes. I'll go Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen.
Whoa, Trevor Lawrence number 3.
Hey, you beat Justin Herbert twice last year.
Get
I know
out of here.
The first time it was with broken ribs, but the second time
Get
it
out
was
of
with
here.
it was in the playoff game.
I'm
So
surrounded by stooges.
Okay. Then you go last, Dan. I'll go with mine. You say you had Herbert 4th, right?
yeah.
Okay, mine is Patrick Mahomes, obviously. Joe Burrow number 2.
The pom-poms.
Josh Allen it's tough there, but I feel like when he's on, he's really good. So Josh Allen number 3, Justin Herbert number 4, number 5, Aaron Rodgers. And let me tell you why I don't have Lamar Jackson.
I can tell you.
He hasn't finished the season 2 years in a row. Injuries are very concerning. I haven't seen him play at an all-time level, or not all-time, but MVP level in a few years. It's been 2019 is a long time ago, guys. So I'm kind of starting to forget about Lamar Jackson, and he might leave to the NFC. Who knows? Trevor Lawrence, maybe. I like what he did, but remember, that was a really rocky rookie year, and even the first half of the season was kind of so-so. So I think it's too soon for me to get into Trevor Lawrence. That sounded weird. And then Justin Herbert, I think that whole stigma with the playoff thing is going to hurt him. But in terms of winning big-time games, I've seen him do it, play at his best. So I'll keep on number 4, and I think Rodgers is a little older, but 5th.
I think Josh Allen should get knocked a lot harder for his playoff
Obviously
game against the Bengals.
That guy's choked. Rodgers is choked. It's not only, I don't know where this hate is coming from.
But he won the one before that, and Herbert has 0. That's the thing. But anyways, Dan, your floor is yours. Give us your top 5.
And he barely got past a Miami 4th string quarterback the week before
Exactly.
that. So
Exactly.
Josh Allen has me, but my bad. Dan, go ahead. My bad. Sorry.
Exactly. I just want to address the stigma against Justin Herbert, which I think is ridiculous. Everybody, real quick, I'm not even going to do my rankings. This is the only thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about my boy, Justin freaking son of
You
Odin
just want to say
Herbert.
Patrick Mahomes #1. That's what you want.
I would never put it number 1.
No,
You
you
know
go
who I'm putting.
Burrow.
Fine, you
You
want me
need
to
to
do it? Fine, I'll do it right now. Justin Herbert is the number 1 quarterback in the AFC, and I will tell you why. Because everybody forgets. Look at your list right there. Justin Herbert has had 2 different head coaches in his short career, 3 different offensive coordinators, different linemen lining up front. What has Joe Burrow? What has your beloved Patrick Mahomes? What has your beloved Josh Allen had? All 3 of those guys, same head coach, especially your boy freaking came
He
into
lost
a winning-
Tyreek Hill this year.
It's my time. Your boy came into a winning situation, Hall of Fame winning head coach. The guy knows how to work to everybody's strengths and the weaknesses of the defense. You saw that in the Super Bowl. They had receivers who you've never even heard of half the time. Who
That's because
were
they built
made
the offensive
famous-
line.
Excuse me. I
All right,
reclaim
you
my
got the
time.
last 30 seconds, and we got to get out of here. Go ahead.
All right. That's all I'm saying. I think everybody doesn't understand how many in my mind, he put up top 5 numbers. I think he finished probably top 2. I'm not even sure. This season with broken ribs, missing his 2 receivers more than half the season. He had a bunch of special teamers out there running routes.
And who was his offensive coordinator?
Exactly. Need I say more? Mr. Joe Lombardi over here. Where's Granddad? You need to go read his book or something to figure
Wrap
it
it up,
out.
Fernando. Let's end Compas on LA beat.
We appreciate you guys for checking out another episode of Compas on the LA. Don't forget to check out Compas on the Beat merch and compasonthebeat.com to check out what Dan and Daygo is wearing, what I'm wearing, what Hilberto usually is wearing. Thank you guys so much. Have a great evening.